The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philos-O-Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 205.
205.
What are we talking about today?
This is our 4th anniversary special.
You know it. Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yay.
4 years. 4 years.
Wow, 4 years. That's
Wow,
wild, isn't
trippy,
it?
huh? Yeah.
I remember when we started and how we really didn't want to, you know. Neither one of us knew anything about podcasts or, you know, why we were doing this podcast. But my mother was insistent, start a podcast. And so we did. And here we are.
Yep.
And it's been wonderful. We've met a lot of wonderful people. And
that's for sure.
Yep.
And it's brought other opportunities, which has been really cool. So just it's brought nothing but good.
Yes, absolutely.
So
we're going to keep
it on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we hop into it, is there anything that you want to touch into from last week?
Yes, last week we did Happy 420.
Yeah.
Yep, and we hope that you all had a Happy 420.
Yes.
We did.
Uh-huh.
It was a good day. We got one email here that I'd like to read. This is from Leslie. She says, "Hello, Samantha and Danny. I hope you had a nice 420 and that your trip to Vegas went well. I wanted to thank you for the 420 episode in particular. I live in a place where marijuana is still illegal, and I do not understand why. I do partake on occasion, but not as much as I would like because of the laws here. I really enjoy how free you both seem regarding the subject and other things you talk about too. Also, Samantha, thank you for sharing about your sensitivity to chemicals. I have some similar issues, but didn't know what was causing it. Now I'm wondering if it's the chemicals. Eating anything from a box like Kraft macaroni and cheese makes me have the worst headache. I plan to do some experimenting to see if the chemicals may be my problem too. Thank you as always for all you both do for the spiritual community. I myself have learned and grown a lot just by being a listener of your show."
Oh, that's sweet, Leslie.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Leslie.
Appreciate that.
You know, the sensitivity to chemicals I've always somewhat noticed, but it seems like as I get older, it gets worse and worse. And I'm noticing that even like I stopped drinking soda for a long time, but now when I have soda, I get a headache instantly. Yeah. So I'm trying to cut back on chemicals everywhere. And we're supposed to. They're bad for us. That's why they're chemicals. Mm-hmm. So if we can eliminate them from our life as much as possible, we should. Just seems like the more I do that, the more sensitive I become. It's tough, but it is important for our bodies. Yeah. It's our body's way of telling us this isn't healthy. Nope. You know, and I don't know what they put in Kraft macaroni and cheese. I mean, it's amazingly good.
She made a good point, especially the box stuff, because that is a shelf-stable preservatives, you know, that go into that. And
yes.
So, but even for me, as I've gotten older, like oil, my body just kind of rejects oil, you know, and sometimes soda too. Yeah.
Yeah. We both definitely have gotten more sensitive in those respects. So, experiment with it and let us know, you know, what you figure out. Because the preservatives, absolutely, all of that crap, the colored stuff will cause a lot of issues. So thank you for that, Leslie.
Thanks, Leslie.
So this episode, being our anniversary episode, we are just going to be answering listener questions and doing readings. Yeah. So just a fun, lighthearted episode. Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Yep. So in our discussion group, I put up 2 different posts. One, if people would like me to do a reading for them on the show, and the other, if they have any questions they would like to ask us regarding anything, ourselves, you know, the show, the universe, anything. Right. So that's what these are about.
Well, how about ourselves? Why don't we share our information really fast?
Oh yeah, let's
before
do that.
We jump into this,
that's good.
And then we'll get going.
That sounds like a good plan.
Go for it.
Okay, so you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. I have a radio show that airs every Wednesday on VoiceAmerica.com on the Empowerment Channel. It's a good time. Check it out.
Very good.
And then for you, sir.
For my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I did want to make an announcement at the beginning. Yes. In honor of our 4th anniversary, I would like to offer a one lucky winner a print of their choice and size of my work, so that you can check out. You go to excuse me, brain fart, djonesartcollection.com, djonesartcollection.com, and just look at what you want. You email me at djonesartcollection@gmail.com. And I will pick from a hat a lucky winner. And there you have it.
Very good.
To say thank you to everybody for supporting and for the love and the participation.
Yes.
That part is invaluable.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Yep. So send him those requests to enter his drawing.
Yes.
To djonesartcollection@gmail.com.
And I'll announce the following week.
Okay.
The winner.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
Very good.
All right.
All right.
All right then. So episode 205, 4th anniversary Q&A. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. So the first question here, actually, there's a couple of questions from Chanel. The first one is, what do spirits look like when you see them randomly? Blobs in your vision? I see them a few different ways. I see the shadow people, and I see energy, like white light energy, and sometimes it will be like a flash of somebody sitting somewhere or something, but most of the time it's the shadows. Yeah. It just happens really randomly out the corner of my eye.
It's a peripheral. Sometimes it's like around a door.
Yep.
Or it's lower, like an animal. So it's like, well, something just went by, like in my peripheral, kind of at a knee level.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I will just be sitting, doing something, maybe focusing on something, and then feel like there's somebody standing there. And I'll look up and I'll see something really quickly, but it goes away. Yeah. It's like as soon as you make eye contact, it goes away, or realize what's going on. Right. But yeah, one time when I first got my abilities, I think probably in the first year, I got up in the middle of the night and I went to get something to drink, and I looked out the window and there was an Indian like sitting on the lawn. Yeah. You know, I was like, what is this? Full like headdress and everything. It was weird. So every once in a while that happens.
That's a total Chumash area.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Simi
right.
Valley, the word Simi is a Chumash word, and all those trails that connect Simi to like Fillmore.
Yeah.
Those are Chumash trails.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah. But so every once in a while it's something that detailed, but very rarely. But yeah. So let's see. She also had a couple other questions here. How did you start being able to talk to spirits? I think I want to start learning how to activate those gifts that I know I have. It really started really quickly. I went into some learning groups where people posted pictures of their loved ones that had passed away, and I just started telling people everything that I felt. And they were telling me I was right. And then I practiced that evening at home with Danny and members of his family that I had never met before. Mm-hmm. I think really what you have to do is just try. Like, if I don't know how to explain what it is that you're connecting to, but if you just try and there's nothing there that resonates, then you know you're not connected. But you might find that you're already connected and just don't know it. Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm happy to help if there's anybody that like wants to try and see if this is something, but they don't have friends that they can go to or whatever. I'm happy to throw you a picture of my mom or my grandma or somebody, and you can tell me what you think. Right. Because that's really the best way of figuring it out, I think. I'm sure that there's other mediums that would say something different, but for me that was just jumping into it, and then taking it from there. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is you have to clear your own mind, kind of. Yeah. To get to a point where you can feel those things.
Yes, absolutely. And it takes time. Yeah. Everything takes time. So just because it was something that came to me, the first time that I tried, doesn't mean that I was, good at it, right from there. I had to practice. There's lots of things that I had to do to get my abilities to be better and to have confidence in myself. Yeah. But the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by practicing. Mm-hmm. And so, if you have people that you feel comfortable with, work on it, because, It's a lot easier than I think people realize.
Yeah.
Especially if you're comfortable with the person that you're working with or don't know them at all and there's no like consequences, you know. That was one of the things about this group that I started doing these readings in, is there was no consequences. Everybody there was trying to learn. And so it was just give it a shot.
It's cool.
You know? Yep.
It's cool to encourage each other that way. It's like, it's okay to be wrong. You just go back and work at it a little more.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
It's like anything. Like you said, it's practice.
Exactly. And then Chanel also asked if I still do mentoring. And I do. And what I do with the mentoring is I kind of just customize it to whatever you want to work on. If you're looking like this to work on like medium abilities, then what I would do is work with you on learning to meditate first of all, because like Danny said, clearing your mind is really the most important thing, so that you're drowning out your own voice. Because if your own voice is sitting there talking to you while the spirits are talking to you, you're not going to know which one is which, and it's going to sound all jumbled and stuff. So that's where I would start, and then I would send you pictures of, you know, my loved ones or animals or whatever you wanted to work with, to see where your abilities are if you've opened some things up already, and go from there. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yay. Okay. The next question is from Sunshine. This is for me. She said, Samantha, how did you get into bird grooming? I always thought it would be fun to do as a job, but everywhere wants experience, and I'm not sure how to even get experience. My love and lack of fear with animals, I thought would be good. I would be good at it, but can't find a foot in. So she had also put on here regular like grooming. I don't do dog grooming or anything like that. So I do the bird grooming, and I trim dogs' toenails and things like that. I worked in veterinary hospitals for a while, and so I learned how to do this stuff working there. And then I started my own pet sitting business, but I had birds and dogs of my own, but I didn't want to groom the birds myself because it's kind of like an attitude adjustment for them. So I like taking them to the vet and having it done there, but that was kind of inconvenient. So I found a mobile bird groomer in Vegas. And she came out, and I watched what she did, and I was like, I can do this. Like, you know, I can do that. Not for my own birds. I still had her come out for my own birds, but I added it on as an option for my clients. And then when I moved here, I realized that there was a need for it here, and so I started doing it here. So the experience is the hard part, because you have to, you know, how do you practice, especially when it comes to birds and stuff like that, because they are so sensitive. So my suggestion in that way, because I've always been like a self-starter, and I go and I do the business myself. I don't like working for other people. Yeah. But I would find somebody in your area that does this kind of thing, that does bird grooming, or if you're looking for, you know, dog grooming. Dog grooming is different, because I think that you need to have like licensing for that and stuff. I'm not really sure, but taking a course is probably a good way to go about the regular grooming. But for bird grooming, maybe you could, you know, just shadow somebody and see how they do it, and then offer the services for free for a while and advertise for it, because it is definitely something that is needed in all areas, because believe it or not, birds are very popular pets, and it's not something that you find in many areas. So I would definitely say, if you're interested in it, give it a try. There's YouTube videos that you can watch on how to do it. That's
a great place for a lot of things.
Exactly.
Like and starters.
Yeah, and then just putting yourself out there, you know, maybe give your grooming name, you know, your business a name, and put it out there and see where it goes.
I have a feeling you won't really have a hard time finding people.
No, absolutely
Although
not.
I don't know really how remote you are, but...
Yeah, that's true. If you're in a remote area, that's different. But here I built up the bird grooming almost as quickly as I did the pet sitting. It was definitely needed. And this is not a big city where we live.
No.
You know, in Vegas it was big there too, but here it's just as big. And this is, you know, there's like 120,000 people in this town. Yeah. So but I do go like, you know, probably a 10-mile radius too. Yeah. So yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Good luck with that, Sunshine.
Yeah, and if I can be of any more help, definitely let me know.
Yeah.
Shall we do a reading?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Since we talked a little bit about spirits, let's talk to a spirit.
All right.
This one is for Crystal. We have a couple of crystals, so this is Crystal B. She says, my grandma Lorraine, when cleaning out her estate, there were a couple of things that I came across that truly hurt me. Does she understand why?
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine. All right, let's check in with her and talk to her. Okay. So, the first things that she kind of tells me is not answering your question yet. She's just telling me about herself, and she's telling me that she was a serious woman. She had a sense of
serious.
Yes, she had a sense of humor, but it was kind of pushed down, and it was a darker sense of humor, I feel. It wasn't something that she felt comfortable showing everybody. So yeah, she had this kind of persona or whatever that people thought about her. She always wanted to look nice. She always wanted people to think that she had everything together and had it figured out, but she didn't have it all figured out, but she kind of kept that inside. She had, what's a good way of putting this? There was a coldness about her and about the way that she raised her family. The nurturing is not very strong with her. It's not like, a typical mother would be. It was more like, okay, you're my kid, and this is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to get married and have kids and have a family and have this traditional life. But it almost feels like she resented this traditional life. Like she wanted something else for her life that she could never have. And I can understand that, because this was a time where, you couldn't live the way that you wanted to.
Midwest?
Seems like it.
That's
feels
what I
like
feel
it.
like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay, let's see what else she wants to say here. Okay, so she wants you to know that she never meant to hurt you, and she understands why some of these things that you found I feel like there's one thing in particular that was a big secret, something that was never told, and she's not telling me what it is, probably because it was a secret. It wasn't supposed to ever come out. There were things that she didn't realize were still sitting around the house, and she's very sorry to not just you, but other people that this affected as well. I feel like there's things that not just you, but other people found out about her this way, and she is very sorry. This was not something that was intentional from her. She felt like I'm seeing a journal.
That's what I heard in my diary.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that's one of the things, not everything, but that's one of the things that happened here. And I think that there's a couple of things here. First of all, the wrong person saw this. Whatever this was, if it was a journal or whatever it was, the wrong person saw this, but somebody was supposed to see it before she passed away. It almost feels like her husband, like she wanted him to see these things that she was writing or whatever it was, to in a way communicate with him that in a way that she couldn't because she didn't feel comfortable. So I hope all this makes sense. You'll have to let me know what it was that you found. But she is very sorry, and she wants you to know that she loves you, and she is sorry that she wasn't the grandma that you needed her to be, because she's showing me you running up to her and her like patting you on the back, but not being really super affectionate with you. She didn't really know how to be affectionate, and so she's sorry for that. So she wants you to know she's so sorry for everything. She's not perfect. She wasn't perfect in life. She made a lot of errors and mistakes, but she also was taught in a way that she didn't know any better, and she's sorry. There you go. So thank you, Crystal and Lorraine.
Thank you, ladies.
And you know what? I'm picking up a bit of an accent here, and I'm not sure what kind of accent it is, but you'll have to let me know, Crystal, if she had some kind of accent. So, yay.
Cool.
Okay. The next question here is from Mickey. She says, in regards to pictures, we ask our loved ones, spirit teams, guides to be with us and show themselves in our pictures. How do we tell the difference between spirits or signs in photos and something that may be random like a shadow? I've had a few where I swear on my life that it's a past loved one or pet, and others I didn't intend on being in the picture. Something weird happens. A mix of emotions on wanting it to actually be someone or something. Yeah, I can understand how, you see something and you want it to be what you see, and so you think it's not possible because there's no way that I'm seeing a face in this picture, but sure. It's very possible.
Oh yeah, we have some good examples of that with the Winchester mansion that we visited up in San Jose, and just using an iPhone, taking pictures around the tour, and then taking them in the filtering process and kind of turning them black and white and messing with a couple of the filters on there. We were able to draw up images of people like spirits that are there. The owner, Mrs. Winchester herself, like in a four-wheeled wagon.
Yep, the whole
on
wagon
the front
was
lawn.
there. Yep.
And then I took pictures of kind of the background scenery, the horizon, which was mainly full of trees and a couple buildings and things. Did the same process. Boom. There was like 3 faces.
Yep.
And they're all very, they look old. Not just, I don't mean like their age. I mean the style, the facial hair, the hair, the look of, it's how they're representing themselves is how they were.
Yes, exactly. We did an episode on that visit to the Winchester mansion. It's episode 39. Yeah. Have a listen to it because we go into more detail about that picture. That one was a trip. But see, something that people don't think about is how are these things done? Okay. The spirits have to use what is available to them in order to make these things happen. So you might see that there's a reflection from a window. Mm-hmm. You might see that there's something in the way, like a leaf or whatever, that's making the shape of this person's face or whatever. Right. In the clouds too, you might see these things. They need a medium to use. They need something to show you these things. So never discount. There's a little like green light ball that our phones make when you're taking a video. Yeah. And those by themselves are not a sign or an orb. No. But we've had one that was turned into the face of a spirit that I had talked to the day before. Yeah. That one was a trip too. It had puffy hair like her, and it had a face in it. We zoomed in. It was the wildest thing. Yep. So sometimes they do show themselves through those lights. You just have to look at them more.
Not particularly the green one, but there be other refractions of light going on sometimes. Yeah. That anything that looks sort of, But again, it doesn't have to be that because the Winchester, some of those shots were, the images of the 3 faces were within like the trees, right, and where you'd see sky breaking through foliage, and then there'd be more foliage and then sky, and then you mess with this filter and all of a sudden boom, you can see the faces. Yep. You kind of have to do sorry about that. No, that's okay. What helps me is like squint at the picture, because you squint, you see a more general idea of the image instead of trying to stare and focus directly on one point. You want to kind of look at it as a whole. Yep. And also, like I said, in the clouds, that's another place that you might see them a lot. Like we had one of our listeners, Kathy, that after her dog passed away and a good friend passed away, she sent us a picture of a cloud that looked exactly like her dog and exactly like her friend. Yeah. That was the trippiest thing. That was rad. So, so you see those things there. Also in pictures, you might, spirits show themselves through the sun. So like reflections from the sun. What do you call those? Like light strips that you see coming in from different directions. But they will use all of those things that are possible through the photography to show themselves as much as they can. You're most likely not going to just see your relative appear sitting next to you in the photo, like they were before. Yeah. But you might see a ball of light, or you might see a reflection, or
a whole plethora of things, or signs, or just like things that you didn't even realize you were taking a picture of, and you look in the background and you're like, whoa, look at that. Don't never discount any of those things, because that's how the universe talks to us, because how else can they talk to us? We're not listening to their telepathic communication, so they have to find other ways to talk to us.
Have you ever seen that one that Tom Petty took in Europe in Paris? Or I think
Is it
Paris.
a cemetery?
Yeah, Jim Morrison's grave. And in the distance, maybe 100 feet away, he's right there, like leaning up against the wall. It's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That is a cool one. There's also one, it's a video from Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch after he passed away, and there's a film crew there, and they're recording, and all of a sudden the shadow goes walking by. And they were like, there was nobody there, there was no explanation for it, but it was a good one. It was a shadow, and it looked like him. So,
Yeah, keep looking at him, Take pictures and look at them.
Absolutely.
Look at everything.
Yep, because you just might find some hidden stuff.
Yeah, because one example, another one really quick on this is when we stayed at Pierpont.
That's the one I was talking about,
a hotel in Ventura. And in the photo, it was just kind of a picture of the ocean with a big pine tree that was sticking up next to the hotel, next to our balcony. And in the photo, it's a very small, up at by the top of the tree, a very small, like kind of imperfection. At first, I thought it was a bird, because on one spot of the picture or another picture, there was a bird.
Yeah.
This, what I have to do is like blow it up, screenshot it, blow it up, like to keep getting it bigger. And you could clearly see, like this lady
hair.
with the big beehive-ish sort of style old hair.
Yep.
Another one is when the fires went through Canaan and your friend lost their home. And we went up there and took pictures, and I had a lot of like incredible light refractions going on where I could blow up and see like some pretty incredible stuff.
Sure was. Yep.
So
for sure. So and if anybody has any examples, send them to us.
Yeah,
we'll share them in the group. Yeah, we love those. So okay.
Thanks for that.
Yes, thank you. The next one is from Gail. She says, "What is the most profound thing you have been told by an animal?" I don't know if it would be considered profound, but one day it just clicked for me that these animals are much more than animals, and that we don't give them any of near the amount of respect that we should. Yeah. And we don't recognize this because they don't speak a spoken language. And so once I realized that, and I realized that they really are trying to communicate with us in their own way, it changed the way that I viewed animals. I've always been an animal lover, but this really made me realize that they need to be respected, not just dogs, cats, birds, but all the wild animals too. Like when we're out and there's nature around us, I just talk to the animals because I think they deserve our respect and, to be talked to as well. So I think that's probably the one thing that I've felt from them that has changed.
I think that's the biggest kind of ignorance about human existence, is we think that if it's not kind of this level of intelligence, then it really isn't like a life.
Right.
And I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think that every single thing here is alive and aware. It has some level of consciousness. Yep. Even a friggin' tree.
Absolutely. Has
some level of consciousness. For me, I always thought with animals, like, God, why are they so lovable? But they're not anything like us, but we can love them more than our own kind sometimes.
Yeah.
Once it clicked with me that these are indeed souls, but they're kind of the purest form, I think. They're whatever level they're in their journey as a soul, they come into this life, as an animal, as far as I'm concerned. And so they're picking probably the most purest life. Yeah. It could be very hard. Or it could be really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they are unconditional love. So it's so pure.
Yes, absolutely it is. It's the best kind of love, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Gail. Hope that answered your question.
Thanks, Gail.
Let's do another reading before we answer more of these. Let's see what we got. Well, let's do an animal one because we were just talking about animals.
All right.
This is for Mary. She says, wondering if you can provide me with any health insight on my beautiful Hikari. She can be somewhat cautious when sitting, so I'm wondering if there's an issue. She's, is she a Shiba Inu? I want to say she is, but
Pretty.
she also looks like something else, yeah.
Pretty dog.
We have a couple of sushi restaurants here called Hikari.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me talk to her. Yeah, there is something, okay, specifically, it is both sides, but specifically the right side and the hip. The back leg, if you go partially down the back leg, like between the foot and the hip area, there's some pain right there, but also in the hips themselves. So what I'm seeing is sometimes trying to sit properly. This is a sign of hip dysplasia. What I'm seeing is trying to sit properly, but not being able to get comfortable in like the normal way that a dog would sit. And so then what she's doing is compensating by like sitting on one side, sitting on one hip. And I'm sitting on the right, so I'm assuming that's the side she decides to sit on too. This is a very common symptom of hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
So if you don't already have her on some different things for this, the first thing I would do is a joint and hip supplement like Cosequin. That's very, very helpful. You might even hear the clicking sometimes in the joints when she walks. The Cosequin will help with the clicking if you're not already doing that. That has glucosamine and all kinds of stuff in it. Also, depending on her age, looking into an anti-inflammatory or something like gabapentin would be great, especially if she's active. Sometimes these dogs don't need it unless they're active. So you just have it on hand in case, like in this picture, they're out and about. Looks like at the beach. So this might be a time where you go home and you notice later on that she's having a hard time getting comfortable. And that's when you give her a pain med instead of always doing it if she doesn't need it all the time. Because I don't feel like this is something that happens every single day all the time. It's mostly caused by too much physical activity. I don't want to say too much because, I don't think it is too much. It's just that it's over strenuous for her body, and that's what's causing some of the discomfort there. So you might notice it more after when she's active, and sometimes after sleeping the wrong way, I feel like she wakes up and that one side is very painful. But yeah, so that's what I think is going on there.
Cool.
So yeah, but she's a happy dog. She doesn't have any complaints about her life. She feels very blessed. She loves you and the family unconditionally. She tells me that she loves the adventures that you take her on, and she doesn't want those to stop just because she shows these signs of hip dysplasia and whatever else is, in the leg there. She's showing me when you take her places what she does, that she like runs a little ways in front of you and then stops and looks at you and then runs a little bit more. That's what she's showing me. So yeah, hope that helps, Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, the next question is from Jacqueline. She says, what specifically inspired your upcoming move? And I want the details of your experience, both of you. This will help me and others to get in touch with our instincts and intuition. Do you want me to start this
Yeah,
one?
go ahead.
Okay. So I really tend to listen to my intuition. Mm-hmm. And I knew that when we moved into this house, this wasn't going to be a permanent situation.
Right.
This was just temporary. It was like the universe wanted us to give our daughter something that she had never had before. And so we moved to, this beautiful community and a beautiful home with a pool and all of the things that she had never experienced, so that she could while she was here before she went to school.
Right.
Now it's time for her to go to school,
right,
and for us to figure out what's next for our lives.
Right.
And being in California is not it, really. And it's not because we don't like California, because I think both of us agree that it's beautiful. It's our home.
Oh, yeah.
And we do love it here. But we're bored out of
Yeah.
our minds to begin with.
Yeah.
We feel like there's more opportunity for us, for our careers, to further our careers in Vegas. There's, for both of us.
Yeah.
It's more artsy, it's more entertainment based. Even though we live an hour from Hollywood, that's still more opportunity for our specific entertainment based careers in Vegas, if you ask me.
Yeah. And it's kind of a double-edged sword with that in mind for our career, but also for our own personal entertainment and enjoyment, because I've been in California my whole life. So any kind of major thing to do around here, for the most part,
Yeah.
I've done it, and I've probably done it several times.
Same, yeah.
So there is a whole level of entertainment, and I'm not talking about gambling, because we just went there this last week and for 2 days, and I think we spent
$20.
$20.
And it was forced. Like, I
Right.
felt like I needed to, for whatever reason.
So that's not it at all.
No.
There's so much to do there now
Yeah.
for personal enjoyment and entertainment. But the other side of it is definitely a career move.
Yeah.
And luckily, Samantha was able to be introduced to a couple through her sister, that hopefully that something like is going to come of this,
Yeah.
So we're in the process of working through that and figuring all that out. But the irony about it is that before we moved into this home we're in now, we just were a town over. And while we were in that home, you had shared with me kind of reluctantly, via your gift and your intuition, that we were going to at some point be moving to Vegas.
Yes.
You're like, you're probably not going to like this, but because I'm not a big fan of heat.
Yeah.
But it gets pretty hot here too.
Yeah.
And we're way more humid than that area, than Nevada.
Yeah.
So, but you did share that reluctantly, and that was good.
4 years at least.
4 years, probably at least. So it was something for me to kind of think about. And
Yeah.
even though I've been there before, but this trip was nice to actually see homes and
Yeah.
see what the outside of the entertainment aspect of it,
Yes.
what it would it be like to live there.
Yes, for sure. I lived there for 15 years, so I'm familiar with what it's like and the misery that is the heat. But every place has its thing.
Yeah.
And we will, get through that. But we're getting older, and it's like if there's ever a time to take this leap of faith, it's now.
Yeah.
Because we still have the energy and the oomph to do the fun things and to work hard, and
Yes.
so now's the time. It's like I would love to, and we were talking about this earlier, actually move more towards the coast, but that's not where life is for us right now. Because if we were to move more like Washington or Oregon or something, there isn't the opportunities there that there is in Las Vegas for us. So it's now. Now's
Not
the
right
time.
now, yeah. I mean, maybe when
Later,
we
yeah.
retire. I think kind of going along with what you were saying at the beginning of this question was, once our daughter is done with school in about 4 or 5 years, and probably then focused on her life and career and starting her own family, then depending on where she ends up, we would probably maybe gravitate towards that area.
Yeah.
So be closer, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that's all to be determined. We just figure we have this time right now where we can take some risks.
I just wrote that. Look at that.
Yes.
Risks. That's
Take
exactly
some
what I was
risks,
hearing. Yep.
take some chances, and try to, because I'll never be child free. We are here for her always,
Yeah.
but it's a chance for us while she's away from home, starting her own path and journey or continuing it on,
Yeah.
for us to have fun.
Yes. And I wrote down risks as you right before you said it, because I feel like the universe wanted to point this out, because Jacqueline had said that this will help other people to get in touch with their instincts and their own intuition.
Yeah.
life is about taking risks. It's about letting go of your fear, because since we've been back from Vegas, we've had to make the decision of if this is the right decision for us, and it has not been easy.
No, nothing is ever easy.
No, it's not. It's a risk.
Right.
It's a
but
leap
nothing
of faith.
will change if you don't seek change.
Exactly. Right. What's the other option for us to stay here and continue doing the same thing that we've been doing? It's time to take those risks, as scary as they may be. And, you're, even as a psychic, I may know some of the things that are coming, but it's still a blind leap of faith. It's still saying, I'm going to take this risk because I feel like that's where the universe is pushing me. Mm-hmm. And like my sister is also planning to move there, and we were talking about this, and she's having the same kind of thoughts about this. Is like, are these different things that I'm seeing, are they roadblocks? Are they putting roadblocks up to try and stop something from happening? Or are they putting obstacles in your way that's making things more difficult, but it's to see how bad you want something? So for all of us, it isn't exactly easy to make this decision to move. Right. And so we're kind of battling all of these things of what's a roadblock and what's an obstacle. And so far, I don't feel like we've had any roadblocks. Like, there's nothing stopping us and saying, don't go to Vegas. Right. There's just things saying, are you going to trust the universe and believe that this is the direction that you're supposed to go in without having all of the knowledge that you would like to have before making this decision?
Right.
That's
and
scary.
During these periods, too, great point, while we're doing the footwork that's necessary to find out, where we're going to go, when we're going to go, how's this, what's that, logistics and all of it, there are still signs swirling around us, around everybody.
Oh, yes.
It's just who's paying attention.
Right.
So a good example of that is when it comes to music, when we were going to move from the house we were at previously to this one and started looking, even talking about looking, we would hear Funky Town.
Yeah.
Now, that's a song that's a popular song. It's been around for years, and you will hear it, especially in Los Angeles. But I'm talking about repetitively, where you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
That's when we know, okay, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's already in the works. Yeah. Like, our desire has now made it happen. So they're not saying, oh, just sit back, relax, we'll take care of it.
No.
No. They're saying, almost in a way, your wish is our command.
Yes, but you have to work for it.
But you have to put the work in.
Yep, and yeah.
And so once we moved to this house, that song kind of...
It stopped for a while, yeah.
As far as the repetitiveness of it. And then as soon as we started discussing this move, boom, start happening again.
Yep.
And certain numbers that were specifically for this trip, for instance. We saw... sitting at a diner out in the patio area, saw two cars pull up in a matter of 5 minutes apart from each other, and one had 417 on it and one had 418 on it.
Yeah.
And we were going April 18th.
Yeah.
The plan to go to Vegas to meet with some people and look at some homes.
Yeah.
And it was right there. Boom, boom. It was saying just keep following those breadcrumbs, if you will.
Yep, exactly. Just trust your intuition. Even if things get dicey and you feel like, oh, there might be, a roadblock or an obstacle here, it's okay. Things are not always going to go smoothly. Most of the time they're not going to, because the universe is testing you. Do you really want this? How bad do you want this?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about, for that example, I'm not talking about two cars that just happen to be parked in the parking lot that I'm looking at license plates. No, one pulled up right in front of us, 4 feet in front of our faces, and then left, and then another one pulled in with the same exact number, just 1 digit difference.
It happens to us a lot.
So, and it's right again in front of your face. So it was like a moving sign that was actually coming forward and backward,
Yep.
So little things like that you got to stop and ask yourself, Most people go, oh, I'm crazy to think that. No. That's where you're robbing yourself of a chance to know that you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question, Jacqueline. This
Thanks,
is
Jacqueline.
definitely a developing story, and you guys will go along on the journey with us. You came on this journey moving here with us, and now we'll take you to Vegas.
Yeah.
It should be an interesting ride. Life is interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, though, I have seen this coming for a long time. I've kept a lot of it,
Here's an interesting story while we were there. I'm going to just share this.
Okay.
About, since we're talking about following your intuition and signs about, is this right? So we were looking through model homes in a particular area, and there happened to be another person that was behind us. So they peeked their head into this one home that we were in, and then like quickly like, ooh,
Yeah.
like, closed the door and went
people,
away.
yeah.
And I was like, we don't live here, kind of jokingly.
Yeah.
Like, you can come here, come in. It's a model.
Yeah.
Well, then the next home we went into, that person walked in. It was a young woman. And she walked in and said, hey, can I ask you guys a couple questions? And I was like, yeah, sure. All of us were like, go for it. And she's like, what do you think of these places? And I was such a general question at
Yeah.
first. I'm thinking, well, I guess it all depends on your taste. So I start getting like technical and like, I like this tile and like
Yeah.
that flooring,
Yeah.
and that ceiling.
Yeah. Well, it was a bright.
Yeah, it was like a can of worms that just opened up. So then she started getting more specific. What do you think about the decoration, the art, and things like that? So she asked if we were there to buy. And I said, well, potentially that's what we're looking for,
Yeah.
And so we talked for a few more minutes, and then I asked her, well, is that what you're here? You're looking to buy too? And she's like, no, not really. Oh, really? Cool. Well, what are you doing? Why are you here?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm looking to sell art. And I was like, whoa, that like
Yeah.
slapped me across the
Yep.
face.
Me too.
Because that's like the main reason that for me, my career, besides the podcast,
Yep.
is what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
And some music too. But art is what I really want to do. And so that was just like a big, like, hey, if this isn't a big hello.
Yeah.
So, and I said, well, what do you mean sell art? She goes, oh, I asked her, you mean to the models? And she's like, yeah. Like
Yeah.
the decorative art that they used to stage them.
Yeah.
I was like,
Genius.
incredible.
Yeah.
Because part of my goal is that I really want to try to get some of my stuff into maybe the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
Which they have obviously cafes, but they're building a brand new hotel there.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Yep.
Where your stuff is hanging out for people to see.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And for me too, there was a sign because I want to do like stage work.
Yeah.
And there was this sign that I saw. It's what did they call him? Paranormal mind reading magician.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, if that guy can have a show, I can have a show. What the hell? So it was both of us saw what we want to do there the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so, the signs were totally there. Like, this is where you're supposed to go.
Right.
So never discount those things as
And
signs.
I wasn't looking for that. That lady
No,
could have said
neither of us were.
She could have said anything.
Anything. She
You
could have
know.
had any career in the entire world.
She could have just been the interior designer.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. She was the artist. So
Yep.
now to somebody else, they might have just whatever that goes over their head, or it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But to me, it was placed there for a reason,
Yeah. Exactly.
to
Absolutely.
say you're on the right track.
Yep. This is
Hopefully,
right.
we were actually in the right track.
Yeah, I hope so, because we really like those
Yeah.
homes. So hopefully, yeah. So there's the long version, which is what you asked for.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Philos-O-Chatter.
Yep.
Sometimes just chatter.
Okay, so we don't have a lot of time left, so let's do one more question, and then I'll do one more reading.
Okay.
How's that? But what question? There's so many good ones. Okay, I've heard that if someone is wishing you bad, or if there is a lot of negative energy around you, sometimes our pets will absorb it, even to the point of getting sick. Wondering what your take on this is. Okay, I don't think that anybody can wish you bad and for it to affect your pet directly. The only way that it's going to affect your pet directly is if it affects you.
Right.
Your energy is the number one thing that affects your animals. Ours are all asleep right now. But if I jumped up and ran through this house screaming, they all would jump up and start running around wondering what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So it's all about you and about your energy.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, I don't think that they aren't going to absorb other people, outsiders.
No.
People that come into the home, yes, sure, but mostly they're going to absorb negative energy from their own owners.
Right.
Yeah. So, I always tell people, don't argue around your pets if you don't have to, because they absorb all of that. And just like kids, it makes them nervous and anxious. And if you're an anxious person, you might notice that your animals are more anxious too.
Yeah.
So, yay. So hope that answers your question. That was Crystal D.
Thanks, Crystal.
Let's do another reading, and then who knows, maybe we'll have another minute.
Okay.
Okay, this one, since we've done an animal and a spirit, let's do a psychic reading. This is for Teresa. She says, I would like a little direction on the next steps. Yes. So let's see what is said for Teresa. You are hyper empath, so you're super, super highly sensitive, but you don't have you have the drive to do what it is that you're supposed to be doing, but you don't believe that you're good enough to do what you're supposed to be doing, which is animal communication and other spiritual type work, Reiki, stuff like that. You don't believe that you are the best at it, so you don't believe that you could do it as a full-time job. But that's not the case at all. You are amazing. It's been a long time since I've had a reading from Teresa, but I remember her readings being very accurate. There is such a need for this in the world, and the universe is saying that if you would take a leap of faith and trust that the universe is going to stand behind you and support you, things don't happen overnight. They take time, and that's okay. But you need to be on that track. I don't know what track you're on right now, what path you're on right now, but if it's not the path of furthering your career in the spiritual realm, then you're on the wrong path. So hopefully that's still what you're doing, because that's where you're needed. That's your gift. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to open the eyes of people that don't see animals as what they are, but see them as animals. You're here to enlighten people on energy work. There's a whole lot of spiritual work that you need to do, and that's where your focus needs to be. Don't worry about how it's going to get done or when or any of those questions. The universe is guiding you, and it's leading you down this path. And what I feel is every time that you start making progress and going farther and farther down your path, you get scared for some reason. And this is so common, we all have fears and anxieties over what path we're supposed to take and where we're supposed to go in life. But sometimes your fears stop you dead in your tracks and make you like totally sidetrack yourself. So next time that happens, that you feel like you're getting sidetracked, stop yourself before it happens and pull yourself back onto that path and say, nope, this might be hard, but it's where I'm supposed to be. It's what I'm supposed to be doing, and keep moving forward with it. So, hope that helps, Teresa.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Teresa.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. Okay, so we still do have a few minutes, so we'll answer a couple more questions. How's that?
Go for it.
This is a good one. This is from Claire. She said, where do you guys see yourself in 10 years?
Wow.
Yeah. I am hoping that in 10 years, that will mean that I will be almost 56. I would like to have several books written by then. I would like to be financially independent to the point where we can travel and do what we want to do while still helping people, but not being tied down to a specific schedule.
Yeah.
I don't want to still be living in Las Vegas. I don't want to be back in California. Right. I want to be somewhere else, but don't know where yet. I want to help as many people and animals as I can. There's no number for that. That's just, I want to look back 10 years from now and go, you did that. Right. You helped as many people as you could. Yeah.
I hate to say this is where I see it, because usually I'm totally way off.
Well, where do you want it to be, I guess, if you made a 10-year plan?
I just want to feel fulfilled as much as possible. I want to learn as much as I can, give as much as I can. and work for as much as I can.
Yeah.
I do look at some point of just like actually retiring and just chilling.
Yeah.
Not that I won't like paint and stuff, but you know, my goal over these next 10 years, really, if not a few more, is to really work and push and strive for what I want
Yes.
and believe in it at the same time.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
want to grow, you know, that's spiritually, yes, financially too, peacefully, inner
Yes.
peace. You know, I don't want to be in the same spot I am right now. That's for sure.
No.
This isn't a bad spot.
No.
I feel very happy, but I know that I can learn more and I can achieve more happiness.
Yes. I absolutely agree with you on that. And you said a whole bunch of things that I was going to say as well, is that I want to have inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping for that. I want to have healed as much of my trauma and done as much shadow work as I can so that I'm more of a peaceful person with less anxiety. I would like to be able to get off antidepressants at some point. So yeah, I have a lot of a lot of goals by myself and a lot of goals for us as a couple and then for our family for sure. But that's
I feel like
basis
the
of it.
first 40 years of my life were kind of bumpy,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm looking for, I don't expect, you know, not for there not to be bumps in the road per se,
Yeah.
but because I am an adult and I am now in charge and leading my body towards my destiny.
Yeah.
As long as I make the right decisions, it doesn't have to be like the first 40 years.
That's right. Yes.
So,
exactly.
And if I'm listening and watching for the signs, then yeah, it should be different. And it has been.
Yep. There was something that we saw that said, like, you spent the first part of your life winging it and you did pretty good. Just winging it. Imagine what you can do now that you are
Put your
intentionally.
mind to it, yeah.
Exactly. So we're making intentional choices every day to move our lives forward in so many different ways. And so that's, where we're going with it.
Yeah.
So.
Even some of my winging it was intentional. I just didn't realize it.
Yes, that's true.
You know, you have to get time between things to have that retrospect, that hindsight, to understand why certain things go the way they go.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, there you have it.
All right.
I mean, I still have more questions, but we're out of time.
Oh,
So,
well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That was cool, though.
Yeah, it's always fun. I like to just chat. But you know what? We'll keep the rest of these questions for weeks coming.
Yes.
You know, because we answer to every week. So why not?
Keep them coming.
Yeah, we sure will.
Very cool. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Participated in that.
Thank you for participating. Thank you for listening. Thank you for 4 years of so much fun and meeting so many wonderful people. And we're so pleased.
Yeah, we've been
you know?
blessed by this. That's for
Yes.
sure. I can see why we were pushed to do it.
I can
At first,
too.
I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But
Yep.
I get it. I get it now.
I get it too. And, you know, we're taking you guys along on a journey, on our spiritual journey, so that hopefully we can inspire you to do similar things in your life, to find your purpose, to be inspired.
Yeah, we're just two ordinary people flailing like everybody else on
That's
this
the
path and this journey and trying to get the most out of it. That's really what it is, experience. And some of those are going to be hills and valleys, but it's all an experience. And it's so nice to connect with people that have some of the same ideas, the same thoughts, the same questions.
Yeah.
And, you know, interests. So thank you, everybody,
Yes.
so much for doing this. If we didn't get to your questions,
We
like
will.
Samantha said, we'll throw those in over the next several episodes
And readings too, yeah.
and readings. But thank you so much for your time, your participation,
Yeah.
your love, and your support.
We appreciate
it so much.
Absolutely, we do.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, before we say goodbye, all these wonderful people, do you want to share your information one more time?
Yes, so you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. Everything is there. The radio show, my blog, you can make an appointment, all of it.
Cool.
And you, sir?
Yes, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay.
And one more reminder, for the drawing for a free print of your choice and size, go to djonesartcollection.com. You pick it. You email me your choice and your address at djonesartcollection@gmail.com and give me like 4 to 6 weeks for printing and shipping, depending on where you're at. Probably be quicker than 4 to 6 weeks, but just in case.
Yep.
There's some issue with mail or two. But
Yeah. And we'll announce the winner next week.
And I'll announce the winner next week.
Yeah.
Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
That we do.
I did. Thanks for all the
Yes.
fun.
Thank you.
And we hope everybody has a great week.
That we do.
Until next week,
Peace and love.